Yeah, boss YouTube, how's it going? Everybody, got for you guys today a really good RU battle. So definitely hope you guys enjoy. As you can see, it is a bit lengthy. I believe the battle was actually like 50 turns, but trust me guys, it was really good. So I definitely hope you guys do enjoy, and if you do, then make sure to hit the like button guys. The support is greatly appreciated. So much like always guys, let's try to get 300 likes, and if we do so, that would be really awesome. So thank you everybody for the support. This of course is the first upload of today. The second upload will be going up in about 2 hours or so, and that'll be a live battle. So as you can see from my team, obviously I'm Ric Flair. This is a team that I did a previous RU live battle with, and it's not my team, it's a team that I got from my good friend The Flawless One. I'll leave his channel link down in the description, so make sure to go check him out. And I actually had this battle while I was testing out this team, and as I said, it really turned out to be an extremely good game. So looking at team preview, the biggest threats I saw on his team were honestly just gonna be the Gallade or Delphox. Gallade could actually be a huge problem if he turns out to be like sub bulk up, although I do have Aromatisse. If he gets up too many bulk ups, Zen Headbutt could really be hurting Aromatisse. Even though I am physically defensive, Gallade does have a very respectable physical attack set there. With Delphox, if it turns out to be Calm Mind and I allow it to set up and I lose my Tyrantrum, could possibly sweep through my team, so that's another thing I really have to watch out for. Registeel is something that this team has troubles with. Although Clawitzer can 2 KO it, they sometimes do tend to carry Thunder Wave, which would be really annoying if my Clawitzer got paralyzed. A Skuntank is something I haven't really seen before, so I don't really know what to expect from it. And then he has the regen core of Tangrowth and Alomola, which is going to be really annoying. So I'm hoping to be able to get rid of his regen core, then find some way to set up with my Tyrantrum on his Registeel, so I can just put in some work to the rest of his team, and then maybe clean up late game with Rotom, or just try to break down his walls with my Clawitzer. So with that being said guys, let's get right into the... Alright, so he's going to be leading off with the Delphox, as I'm going to be leading off with my Rotom. Now turn 1, I'm thinking, who leads off with Delphox? Delphox is very rarely a lead, even if it is a big threat to your team. So I thought, what if he's possibly Scarfed? Because look at his team. Nothing besides this Delphox can be Scarfed. Scarf Gallade is never ever used. I've never seen it before in my life, so that automatically went out of my mind to think that Gallade could have been Scarfed. So I'm thinking, okay, there is a small possibility this Delphox could be Scarfed, and because it is first turn of the game, I highly doubt that he's going to go for a Grass Knot predicting me to bring in my Clawitzer. So I decided to switch into my Clawitzer, as he actually does end up going for the Fire Blast. Now I still don't know if he is Scarfed or not, just because he knows he can easily take a hit from Rotom, and he could have got off damage on whatever I brought in. So he's going to switch into the Tangrowth, and seeing that he didn't get leftovers, I'm thinking that he's Assault Vest, as he stays in thinking that he could live the Ice Beam. No, Clawitzer Modest max special attack with Life Orb hits like a truck. So not wanting to take a possible Drain Punch, I switched directly into my physically defensive Aromatisse. Luckily for me, he turns out to not be a bulk up variant because he didn't go for the substitute, or maybe he's just saving it for later in the battle. But seeing that he had knockoff, I'm thinking that he might not have Zen Headbutt if he is a bulk up variant. So as he brings in the Skuntank, I'm going to pass the wish off to my Clawitzer, because I definitely know Clawitzer is going to be a huge help in this game. As I double switch into my Registeel, he switches into his Gallade, and of course I get the worst end of the switch out, so I switch directly into my Golbat, as of course he goes for the knockoff, which was really frustrating. So I'm gonna go ahead and go for the U-turn, predicting him to switch out. Now this Golbat does run enough speed to outspeed max speed Adam and Gallade, so I could have gone for the Braver, but honestly the switch into Registeel was very obvious. The U-turn was definitely my better play to do. As I U-turn into my Tyrantrum, I go for the Dragon Dance, which honestly was a little bit questionable on my part. If anything, I should have pulled a double switch, because this turn I'm going to be forced to switch out. As I bring in my Registeel, expecting him to want to go for the Scald and hoping that he doesn't burn me, I'm just going to go ahead and go for a Toxic of my own. And honestly, Toxic was just a really bad play because the switch out was very obvious, because why else would you bring in a Registeel on an Alomomola unless you possibly do have a status move to hit it with. So if I had just got out my Rocks this turn, that could have been a little bit more beneficial to me. Then again, this Skuntank most likely does have defog, so I guess it wasn't too bad of a play that I Toxic, but I also could have Seismic Toss. Just in the end, I still think Rocks would have been my better play, because he's going to go ahead and go for the taunt, and I do predict that, and I go for the Seismic Toss. And I could have possibly got off 2 turns of Seismic Toss damage, because this turn is going to switch out into Gallade as I go for another Seismic Toss, getting off a little bit more damage. As it turns out that he does not have leftovers, this automatically confirms to me that he is not a sub-bulk up variant, and most likely it's just going to be an Assault Vest variant, as he goes for the Zen Headbutt, gets off a decent little bit of damage on my Aromatisse, as I make a really bad play and I go for the Moonblast. Honestly, I should have just gone for the Wish. There was really no reason for me to Moonblast, because the switch out was very obvious. So that was just poor playing on my part. As he goes for the Iron Head, he flinches me. Luckily though, I'm able to live, and this turn he doesn't get the flinch again, because if he did get the flinch, he would have been able to easily KO me, and I'm able to get the Wish up and then go for the Protect, allowing my Aromatisse to further be able to wall that Gallade, which my Aromatisse is really the only thing that I have for Gallade, unless my Golbat remains at a high amount of HP. So I believe we both switch out. As I bring in Registeel, he brings in the Skuntank. I'm going to predict him to go for the taunt once more, and I'm going to go ahead and go for the Seismic Toss, as I'm slowly wearing down the Skuntank, and then we both switch out. As I bring in Golbat, he brings in the Alomomola. I'm going to go ahead and just go for the defog, because the Stealth Rocks are really damn annoying. As I bring in my Tyrantrum, I predicted him just to go for the Psyshock, and then this way I could possibly go for a Earthquake, thinking that he was Scarfed. As it turns out that he is Scarfed, because he tricks me with the Scarf. I then switch into my Rotom, predicting him to bring in the Alomomola, allowing me to safely go for the Volt Switch this turn. As I'm going to go for the Scald, I end up getting the burn. Now honestly, this burn I don't think was game changing, just because it honestly just sped up the process of me taking down this Registeel, because as you can see from this damage calc, at 90% HP, which he was at, Aura Sphere is a solid 2 KO. So I could have just Aura Sphered, then Aura Sphered again, or Aura Seared, then gone for a Scald, and just, yeah, in the end, I don't think this burn is honestly game-changing in the slightest. So this turn, thinking that he might switch out or just want to fodder off Registeel, I decide just to go for the Aura Sphere, as he's going to end up switching into his Alomomola. And look at how much this does. 71%. That's a solid 2 KO. As I go for the Dark Pulse, and oh my lord, this was an absolute choke. This, I lost right here. I lost as soon as I clicked Dark Pulse. Am I saying that I lose the battle overall? No. Am I saying do I win? No, I'm saying that this instance right here is what could have been the nail in the coffin for me at this point in the battle. Because as we all know, the cancel button likes to not work on Pokemon Showdown, and I wanted to go for the Scald because there was really no reason for me to Dark Pulse. Scald in the end would have been my more beneficial play, plus I could have had a chance to burn the Gallade as he switched it in, because the switch in was honestly way too obvious. And then I give him the +1 because he has Justified. And of course I can't stay in. I don't feel comfortable switching into my Golbat because he could easily Zen Headbutt, but he ends up going for the Drain Punch, which does 24%. And I know that a Zen Headbutt will be able to knock me out. I was hoping that maybe he could miss so I could go for the Wish. Unfortunately, that is not the case. And with me losing my Aromatisse, this Gallade has become major threat number 1 alongside this Delphox, which is still running rampant at full HP, I might add. So, since he tricked the Scarf off to my Tyrantrum, he knows that I'm faster than him, and I'm just going to go ahead and go straight for the Dragon Claw. I am not going to mess around with Gallade. That is rule number 2, you do not mess with threats. So I then switch out into my Clawitzer as he goes for the Wish. I am just going to stay in and I'm going to go for the Scald, hoping and praying that I get a burn on this Gallade, because if this Gallade had received the Wish and got brought back up to full HP, he could have swept through my team with a combination of Gallade and just Registeel, because Registeel is the one thing that stops my Golbat, and my Golbat is EV to outspeed Gallade if he was running max speed, which none tend to carry Jolly, and it just all would have gone downhill and he would have easily won with this. luckily, thankfully, the Hax gods were in my favor and they saved me as I'm able to get the burn. This Gallade is now utterly and completely useless. So I switch into my Golbat just as death fodder, thinking that he would knock me out with the Shadow Sneak next turn, but I guess he doesn't have it, as he ends up making an odd play and goes for the Ice Punch. I guess maybe thinking that I would go for the Defog and he didn't want to risk Zen Headbutt missing, which is completely understandable, but if I was him, I would have definitely taken the risk of Zen Headbutt hitting or missing to be able to get off more damage on Golbat, but it's fine because I can outspeed this thing. So what I'm going to do is actually go straight for the Brave Bird as he switches into the Delphox, thinking that I would most likely just want to go for the Roost, but that is not the case, as I switch into my Tyrantrum, hoping that he would actually Fire Blast, thinking that I would bring in Registeel. He ends up going for the safe side shock. I'm still Scarf, so I'm thinking I might still have use for Tyrantrum later in the battle, plus the switch into Alomomola is very, very obvious, so I double switch into my Rotom, and much like earlier in the game, I'm in a free position to just Volt Switch and get the hell up out of there. So he's gonna switch into Gallade as I bring back in my Golbat. Again, I'm very positive he doesn't have the Shadow Sneak because he's shown Zen Headbutt, Knockoff, Drain Punch, and Ice Punch. So I can take this opportunity to go for the Defog. And the reason why I defogged as opposed to going for like Roost or another Brave Bird is because if I would have done that, then this cycle would have been a bit repetitive, and in the long run he probably still would have been able to keep up his Stealth Rock. So I knew that the more beneficial play for me to do was to go straight for the rocks, plus there was a small chance that he might have wanted to switch into Alomomola, thinking that I would Brave Bird, and then after defogging I could have gone for the Roost and kept Golbat for later in the battle. But just in the end, as I said, defog in my opinion was my more beneficial play to do, as I switch out into my Registeel, predicting him to just go for a Side Shock. I know that I can still save Golbat for fodder later in the battle, and I know from prior experience that at the amount of HP that I'm at, I can easily live a Fire Blast. So I take this opportunity to go for these Stealth Rocks. So the reason why I did this is because if I can force his Stealth Rocks to switch in one more time, I can bring him down to a point where my Rotom's Volt Switch is going to be able to knock him out, and if it really comes down to it, Thunderbolt is guaranteed to knock him out, which means I have to apply offensive pressure on Skuntank, or just hope that he misplays with Skuntank and switches right back into Delphox before he's able to defog, so I can ensure that Rotom can win me the game late game. Win me the battle late game, sorry. So I'm going to switch out, obviously not wanting to take another Fire Blast, and thinking Tyrantrum 4 times resist this. I can live the hit, force him out, Earthquake to ensure he doesn't bring in Skuntank for free. No, that is not the case, as he's able to knock me out. I then bring back in Rotom. I am Scarfed, and I'm going to force him to switch out. If he had stayed in, then I would have brought him down to a point where I could have brought back in Rotom after foddering off Golbat to revenge kill him with another Volt Switch. And here, oh, thankfully, he's forced. He is forced to bring in Delphox, because if he had brought in Skuntank, I would have been able to easily get up a Roost and be able to still have Golbat around for this battle, which really would have come in handy for me. Although it wouldn't have been the most useful or helpful mod, it still would have been nice to be able to just Roost up, stall things out, gain momentum with U-turn, and obviously Brave Bird accordingly, and defog of course if he does manage to get up rocks again with Registeel. So by him being forced to bring in Delphox, I get off that extra bit of Stealth Rocks damage, ensuring that my Rotom not only outspeeds it because of the Choice Scarf, but will be able to knock it out with the Volt Switch. Although he is in Blaze range, that honestly is not going to end up playing a role whatsoever. As I bring in Rotom, I'm going to go straight for the Volt Switch because I really have no reason not to, as he's going to switch out. He still has a chance to defog with the Skuntank, which is why he's probably going to try to save his Delphox, which is not a bad play at all. As I bring in my Clawitzer, I go for the Orsier, not wanting to possibly risk him wanting to switch into the Alomomola. As this turn I switch out into my Registeel, predicting him to go for the Sucker Punch. The reason why I did this is because at the amount of shit that I'm at, I'm very positive not only can I live a Sucker Punch, but I can start wearing down this Skuntank, because as I said at Team Preview, if I can wear down his team, my Rotom is going to be able to clean up the game, clean up the battle late game. So I keep trying not to say clean up like game in the same sense. You get what I'm trying to say. Late game, Rotom can come in and win me the battle. So that's what I want to do. I just want to get this Skuntank to as low HP as possible, so I won't have to worry about it being able to live a hit from Rotom and 2 KO me with Sucker Punch if it really comes down to it. So he's going to go for the defog. Then this turn predicted him to actually bring in Alomomola. I double switch into my Rotom, and here is another crucial play. This is actually very, well, I would say it's very important depending on how you look at it. But basically, if he was running special defense EVs, he could actually live a Thunderbolt. So if I had Thunderbolted, he could have gone for the Toxic. He could have protected, worn me down with Toxic, switched out into Delphox as Death Fodder to get another turn of Toxic damage, brought back in Alomomola, and protected to get another turn of Toxic damage. As I knock him out with another Thunderbolt, he brings in Skuntank. He knocks me out with Sucker Punch because at the low amount of HP that I'm at, he knocks out my Clawitzer with Sucker Punch, and he can even take on my Registeel one-on-one to an extent, and it would come down to his Alomomola against my Registeel, and if he's able to burn me with a Scald, then he wins the game with Alomomola. So I had to make an aggressive play and risk a possible miss by going for the Leaf Storm, ensuring that I would be able to OHKO this Alomomola and, in sense, seal me the victory. So I'm able to get rid of the Alomomola as he brings in the Delphox. All I have to do is fodder off my Clawitzer, and then I can bring back in Rotom, lock myself into Thunderbolt, and that is going to be the 2-0 victory in my favor. So that was definitely an intense game. That choke, oh my lord. If I had not got that burn with Clawitzer came in so clutch in that turn when I scalded as he tried to pass off the Wish to Gallade by being able to burn him and, in sense, give me a chance to still be able to pull out the victory. He came very close to winning. Luckily though, as I said, I was able to pull out the victory, and hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, then make sure to hit the like button, guys. Your support is greatly appreciated. And with that being said, I will see you in about 2 hours or so with my second upload of today, so make sure to go check that out. And with that being said, I will see you all later. So yeah, see you in a few, everybody.